So I keep hearing this statement, this comment from Christians, thank God for saving me from sin, or, some variation of that. And wow, the statement is so asinine that it confuses me, humors me, and angers me, like, all at the same time, because I know how absolutely stupid of a statement it is. Okay? Now, what I'm referring to, let me say this again. I'm referring to the statements and quotes and stuff from theists, particularly Christians, who talk about thank God for saving me from sin, thank Jesus for saving me, for sacrificing himself for me, and thank God for sending his son, to save me, and blah blah blah. Okay. There's a whole lot of problems with everything that goes into that, but in particular, I just really want to nail down one point in this video. I'm going to start with a couple other little points, though. One, Jesus didn't sacrifice a damn thing. Okay? If Jesus is God, and he is omnipotent, he knew he was going to resurrect. So he suffered, a 3-day loss while he was dead. And the guy's been around for infinity years before this. For all we know, that 3 days was a vacation. Okay? Second off, how do you kill something which is immortal? Okay? So the whole concept of Jesus, dying is stupid. He was God, per Christian beliefs. So, what did he die of? His fleshly body was destroyed? Kind of like the Doctor from Doctor Who. He just came back as some ethereal other being, his other self. Or he always was his other self. I mean, of course, no Christian can actually rationalize this other than to just say, well, he can just do anything, and there's nothing is impossible with God. And other such stupid, just toss-off kind of arguments. So that's problem number one. Problem number two is, wow. Your God-created sin. I mean, I hate to burst your little double-think bubble, but you Christians really need to get this through your head and understand. If you believe that nothing existed without God's decision, choosing, will, making it happen, whatever spin you want to put on it, if nothing existed before your God chose to make it so, then everything about hell, Satan, fallen angels, sin, and let me make this point very, very clear to you, God's choosing to send people to hell for whatever reason you feel is your denomination. Some people believe, the majority, from what I understand, that disbelief in God and or Jesus results in being sent to hell. Some Christians, think that you can be of other religions if you have the viewpoint that God is good and all that stuff, and your take on God is slightly different, you will still go to heaven, and that kind of stuff. Other people say, no, you go to hell too. Of course, there's thousands of denominations of Christianity because they all differ on many different points from many different cultures across the globe. So, the point being, though, underlying all of them is that there is a hell and that there are people who are sent to it. Now, let me tell you this again. If you believe that nothing exists without your God's choosing to make it so, then you also have to believe that sin, hell, the devil, and the ultimatum of do as I say or be eternally tortured in hell is your God's choosing. Now, can you please explain to me how that decision in any way relates to some kind of moral good without resorting to, well, his ways are higher than ours, we just can't understand? Because that's a cop-out. If you can't actually give a reason, then don't bother trying to cop out with that bullshit, because I'm not interested, okay? That's kind of really it for this video. I really want to expound a little more on some of those topics, which I probably will. But for this video alone, please explain how you can think that a morally good and just God can just arbitrarily put forth an ultimatum about do as I say or die, and that's considered good. Now, to make a point, if you say that, well, God says it and God can do anything he wants, therefore whatever, well, then you're not actually declaring that that state of being is good. All you're saying is that it's the authority, we can't do anything about it, and we just have to live with it. That's not good. That's a dictatorship. I mean, that's Hitlerish. I mean, I hate to go that route, Godwin's law, but that's just the way it is. If you actually declare that what God has done is good just because he says so, that's not an argument. You are just agreeing with him because you have no other choice per your beliefs. In addition, let me throw this last little bit in as a conclusion. To those who will reply, we wouldn't know joy without suffering and those kinds of arguments. That's not true either. What you have to realize is that if you believe that nothing existed until your God chose to make it so, then you're also stating that your God chose to make our reality in such a way that you can't understand joy without suffering. And why would he again choose to do that? It's illogical, it's irresponsible, and technically it's just unnecessarily cruel. See, what you guys can't get away from, no matter how much you want to, is that your God chose to make all of the agony and suffering and sin and whatever else is negative in the world and the universe, etc., per your beliefs. And he also chose to set up the physics, so to speak, of our reality to make his decisions be that way. So, if you really just have to take it upon yourself, you have to take the responsibility. Your God has to take the responsibility that everything bad is from him and unnecessarily so. He chose to make us suffer. Can you explain that? Can you explain why you think that that is a morally good thing about your God? Good luck.